Hello, my name is Sydney Ellen Blinn, and today I have the extreme honor of introducing Emily Ferguson. Emily is hands down the strongest and most positive person that I know. For starters, she is the class of 2020's literal trap queen, scoring a 199 out of 200 and winning top shooter from Tennessee this year at Nationals. And while cancer has tried to bring her down, she beat it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I think we all know these amazing tidbits that make her so special, but to me and the rest of the class of 2020, Emily is everything I just mentioned, plus so much more. She is smart, beautiful, optimistic, and funny, and what makes her even more special is the genuine smile that she comes to school with every day. From what I've seen, absolutely nothing can bring down Emily. I know for a fact that she has something beautiful and inspiring to share with us today. So without further delay, I give to you Emily Lauren Ferguson.
Those of you that know me probably know me as the cancer girl or the trap girl. So I'm probably going to talk about one of those things, right? Well, you're wrong. I'll be talking about both. You would think cancer would be my answer when asked what the most impactful thing in my life is. I mean, after 3 cancers, I'm down 1 eye, 2 ribs, part of my left lung. I have heart problems and health-centered anxiety. I have brain fog, and while my classmates were learning about the unit circle, I was learning about how to tell the difference between being regular tired and being low hemoglobin tired. My cancer story begins when I was 18 months old, when doctors found retinoblastoma in my right eye. Since it was unlikely that I would be able to see out of that eye again after treatment, and that the chances of my retino coming back were higher if I kept the eye, my parents opted for my eye to be removed. I would have made the same decision. The short and sweet version of my second cancer is that at 11, it was discovered that Ewing's sarcoma was in my chest cavity growing out of my 3rd and 4th ribs. The mass was large enough to crush my left lung and had begun to push my heart over in my chest. I was playing soccer when we discovered this, by the way. I was running around with only 1 functioning lung, and that still blows my mind. Now, 5 years later, I'm in the October of my sophomore year, and I go back to St. Jude for checkup scans, as I do every year. And they see spots in my right lung. Ewing's has come back. So starting that summer, after give or take 8 months of chemotherapy, a couple weeks of radiation, and a few surgeries later, I am now successfully back in remission. That is the story I usually give when telling people about my history with cancer. What I don't tell people are all the little moments buried inside. One moment I'd like to share is about Buddy. Some of you here know about Buddy. He was a little red backpack full of fluids that I carried around whenever I was dehydrated, which was often. I often joked about how much I hated having to carry him around, but what I didn't share was having to get up every 3 hours to go to the bathroom because of the constant fluids. Because of this, I couldn't sleep at night. He was loud, a mechanical whirring that seemed to get louder with every repetition. I could always hear it, always. It didn't matter how many blankets or pillows I buried him under. That constant winding sound was always there, and I was never able to get more than a couple hours of sleep before I'd have to get up again, and eventually get up for the day, for whatever St. Jude had in store for me. But even after all of this, I can't say cancer is the most impactful thing in my life. I mean, it's not what I think is the most impactful thing in my life is. I was so young when all of this began, I don't know life any other way. Cancer's never stopped me. But then what is the most impactful thing in my life? My answer is a sign-up. Have you ever thought about something in your life that is so monumental to you that you couldn't imagine living without it? Something that if it weren't in your life, you don't know where you would be. And I remember the moment when I signed up for a sport I had never heard of before, trap. I remember showing up to my first practice and telling my new coaches that I only had one eye, so I don't have to do an eye dominance test. Left eye dominant. Then and there, I was lovingly dubbed the one-eyed, one-eye shooter. I have met some of the most kind and wonderful people this world has to offer through trap. I have been quoted before saying that I couldn't imagine a life without trap, and I stand by that now more than ever. These people have been with me during some of the highest and lowest moments of my life. My team was there for me during my treatment last year. They were patient with me on the days that I had to take frequent breaks during practice when I was too tired to stand because of the chemotherapy. They laughed with me when I was so determined to shoot that I rolled up to practice with fluids and pump in a backpack. Buddy. Now, when I think of how a spur-of-the-moment idea turned into one of the most pivotal decisions of my life, I can't help but marvel at how close I had come to a completely different life. So those of you that know me probably know me as the cancer girl or the trap girl, and you're right, I'm both. And I have come to learn two things that are consistent through life. The first, life is hard, guys. It is mean and it is cold-hearted, but it can be wildly beautiful if you let it. And the second is we are all greater than the sum of our parts. I am the cancer girl, and I am the trap girl, and I am so much more. Thank you.